The pianist was on his final ever cruise on the V, as he was due to transfer to the Beast once we docked into Barbados. We did our usual lunchtime drinking session, followed by pre-dinner drinks, followed by after-dinner drinks, followed by post-early show drinks, and by the time the day was over and we were in the crew bar steaming, if either of us were breathalyzed, we could have made the damn thing blow up, but this had become the norm. It was at this point that we were quite unstoppable. We would have already knocked back either a bottle of vodka or rum each by the time we'd even stepped foot in the crew bar, and that didn't include the drinks we had over lunch and dinner. The night had progressed from work mode to play mode, and damn, I was ready to play. It was a band night in the crew bar. This was a rare occurrence, and the bar was heaving with life. I was sat in the smoking room and planning the after-party festivities when I was approached by a Shoppie. "Paul, do you mind if I have a cabin party?" said Manchester. I took a deep drag from my cigarette. "Sure, but why are you asking permission from me?" I said. Manchester sat down next to me and said, "Well, you see," she paused and took a cheeky swig from my drink. "Do you mind?" "Oh, help yourself," I said. Manchester began to speak out hesitantly. "Do you mind not having a cabin party so people would come to mine?" I took my drink back from Manchester's clutches and I took a swig. "Okay," I said. I took another deep drag from my cigarette. "But if you get shut down, we'll move it to mine." "Is Fatty going to be there?" "Who?" said Manchester. "You know, the Kraken." "How many fat cunts do you know in your team?" I said. Manchester laughed. "I hate her, so no, she isn't invited." "Good," I exclaimed. I downed the rest of my drink and poured another. Which cabin is it?" I said, as I continued to pour half a pint of rum, then topping up with some cola. "It's the one next to the crew laundrette," said Manchester. I took a massive gulp of my drink, smiled and said, "Cool, I can't wait." I lit another cigarette and Manchester walked off. The crew bar party had drawn to a close and both the pianist and I made our way down to my cabin so we can reload our drinks. I cracked open a new bottle of vodka and poured us both half a pint, followed by some Fanta for a hint of colour. I didn't bother to load my rucksack up as I knew the party would be probably short-lived. This was due to the fact that Shoppie Corridor is always busted, as this night manager never really liked the Shoppies. I picked up a handful of mixtures and loaded them into the pockets of my khaki trousers. I lit a cigarette and chugged it down nicely. "How long do you give it before it shuts down?" said the pianist. "I'll say about an hour max," I said, as I gulped on my drink. "Hopefully they allow smoking in their cabin." "Yeah, or you'll be fucked," said the pianist. "They should do, after all they always smoke in mine," I said once again, followed by another gulp. I finished my cigarette then stubbed it out. Picked up my bottle of vodka by the neck as though I might crack it over someone's head. I beckoned for the pianist to leave and we made our way down to the Shoppie Corridor. As soon as we came to deck 4, we could hear the party going on. They've left the cabin door open and this was always a sign that the night manager would soon be here. We made our way round Shoppie Corridor and entered the party. There were Shoppies, Togs, and Youfies present, and there was a nice tidy number of them. As I walked through the door, I was grabbed by a Liverpool who was Manchester's cabin mate and dragged into the toilet. "Fat cunt's just been and got on, and is coming back," she exclaimed. "What do I do?" She handed me a cigarette which happened to be a Lambert and Butler. I hadn't smoked these since I was a student. I lit my cigarette and memories of being a student just flooded back with every drag. Then I remembered that I was asked a question. "Tell that Kraken to fuck right off," I said. Liverpool looked at me. "I can't do that because I don't want the drama," she said. "Perhaps you'll see me and the pianist, then fuck off," I said. "I've got my fingers crossed," said Liverpool. I finished my cigarette and looked around. I couldn't see an ashtray. I was just flicking my ash into the sink. "Where do I put this?" I said. Liverpool looked around and picked up her bathroom bin. Wet it and dump it in here," she said. I turned on the tap and wet my dog in and dumped it in the bin. We both left the bathroom and went back into the main party. The Kraken was sat on the bed, taking up most of the room. She was sat on there with some of the Togs and talking at them. Not to them, but at them. I could see that they were looking bored with what they were hearing from the vile one. The look on their face was a picture. It was as though the life was draining out of them. I made it over to the pianist who was standing next to the desk. Manchester was with him and they were having a good old chinwag. I opened up my bottle of vodka and without asking I topped up the pianist's drink, followed by mine. Both Liverpool and Manchester held out their glasses and I topped them up. Then once again I added some Fanta for colour. The four of us were talking for a while, just general chit-chat, then the deck began to bounce. Thud, thud, thud. I looked around and the Kraken was making her way over to the pianist and myself. Both Manchester and Liverpool made a hasty retreat to the bathroom for a cigarette, and before I could retreat, both the pianist and I were cut off from any means of escape by the sheer volume of this beastly woman. The Kraken was wasted, fuck knows how, as she was still in debt with everyone. I guess she was just pilfering people's drinks. "I want to call a truce with both of you," spat the Kraken. Her breath smacked me in the face, and it was so strong it could have concussed me. "We can have a truce if you want," I said. "After all, we all know the problems are created in reaction to what you've said, as well as not paying people back." "Well, I'm sorry, I won't do it again," she said. I looked at the pianist. He was flinching from the stench of rabid sea bitch. The pianist nodded. "Okay, I'm sorry too for name calling in general bitterness," I said, "but I'm not sorry for calling you out for ripping off of Newport. She may be on leave at the moment, but you still got to pay her back, and you can do so by paying it to me." The Kraken paused and scratched her head. "Can you wait till payday?" she said. "Yeah, I can wait till payday," I replied instantly. "Cool," she said. I topped off both the pianist and my drinks once more. There was enough for one final drink for me in the bottle before I had to reload. I looked at the clock and saw that the party was going into its second hour. I guess the Shoppies were getting lucky. I placed my bottle of vodka on the desk and then added the mixtures to our drinks. The Kraken picked up my bottle of vodka and began to unscrew the cap. I interceded and grabbed the bottle from her. "I'm going to be as nice as I can about this," I said to the Kraken. "It's bad form to just help yourself to someone else's drinks without asking." The Kraken paused and looked slightly shaken. I guess she must have felt that the truce was over before it began, though I didn't expect what happened next. "I'm sorry," she said. "Do you mind?" The words "I'm sorry" actually fell out of her trap. Holy shit, I thought to myself. So, for diplomatic reasons, I allowed her to have the last of the vodka. I gestured to her with my hands that it was okay, followed with a verbal communication that it was okay. I tapped the pianist on the shoulder for his attention. "Dude, I'm going for a reload," I said. As I walked out of the room, Liverpool followed me out of the cabin. "I'm going for a reload," I said to Liverpool. "Cool," said Liverpool. She began to walk with me. "What did Miss Piggy say to you?" I sighed. "She wanted a truce." "You're fucking kidding me," exclaimed Liverpool. "It's true," I said, "but I'm not holding my breath." "Neither am I," said Liverpool. We arrived at my cabin and I put my key card into the lock and the door clicked open. We both went inside. I pulled out my cigarettes and offered one to Liverpool. She took two out of her packet and handed me one. We both lit up and I walked over to my stash. "How you doing for booze?" I said. "I'm quite low at the moment," said Liverpool. I pulled out 2 bottles of vodka, then loaded them into my rucksack. Then I went over to my fridge and pulled out a selection of mixers, a few tins of Pepsi, a few tins of 7-Up, and a few tins of Fanta. "That should do us," I said, as I zipped up the bag. Both Liverpool and I finished up our cigarettes and went back down to deck 4. Liverpool's cabin door was shut, so she opened it up and we went inside. There were a few less people than before. I figured that they had run out of booze and either went for a reload or retired for the night. The Kraken was still talking to the cringing pianist next to the desk. I unzipped my rucksack and handed the bottle of vodka to Liverpool, followed by a handful of random mixers. I went to go over to the pianist but held fast. I was glued to my spot as I saw an abomination. The Kraken lunged over towards the pianist for the kiss. Everything went in slow motion. I could see her lunging with her lips pouted, ready to assault my friend. I could see the pianist's face all scrunch up and bracing itself. The pianist put out his arms and deflected the Kraken towards the desk as he sidestepped out of the way towards for safety, and the Kraken fell into the desk, knocking over empty cans and other debris in the process. "What the fuck was that?" spat the pianist. I reloaded my drink. This was going to be good. "I was going to give you a kiss," said the Kraken. "You repulse me, you fat, ugly trollop," spat the pianist once more. "What makes you think I would go with someone like you, you repulsive, smelly, fat, fuck, trampy cunt?" The Kraken didn't say anything. She was just taking the justified bile that was foaming towards her. The whole cabin was looking at her, and as she started to go red in the face, she was looking at the pianist and her eyes were filling with water. "Don't look at me like that," the pianist spat once more. "Answer the fucking question. What makes you think I would allow your repulsive chubby face assault mine? Get the fuck out of my face, you fat, vile, repulsive slag." The Kraken burst out into tears and ran out of the cabin. The floor began to thud and reverberated with every heavy footstep in the Kraken's departure. The whole room filled with laughter, though the pianist was in no laughing mood. I walked over to him and reloaded his drink. I shouted, "Denied!" to the pianist, who promptly copped me a look. "I guess that's the truce, fuck for you," said the pianist. "Fuck the truce, dude," I said. "You finally won the run of the contract just before you leave for good." The pianist smiled. "Yeah, I did. I've won Run on a contract and Centurion slag off. What a contract. Hell yeah, I said. What a contract indeed. And what a contract it was. I couldn't think of a better way for the pianist to leave the V for good. This just left me. I was going to be the last animal on board.